for 30 years, I've watched people read books and get inspired. Tapes have been an extraordinary tool because people have been able to condition themselves by hearing things again and again. But there's nothing like an event. And I really want to invite you to participate and come. Very often people look at an event and they think, well, I'm just going to get positive. And if you've talked to anybody who's been to the Unleash Within Power Then program, this is a conditioning event. The only way you're going to get a lasting result is build muscle. And there's no way to do that like immersion. You can go to the ballpark and be there by yourself or with 5,000 people, but if you're there with 50,000 people, it's a different game. And momentum is what this is all about. And that's really what we've been trying to help you have over the last couple of days, to get clear on what you want, to get clear on what's stopping you, to give you some momentum going forward, to figure out how to close the gap between where you are and where you really want to be. And the UPW does that in spades. So it's got a money-back guarantee, so you can't possibly miss out. You can go to half the program. If you're not thrilled, you get your money back. So I've tried to make it so that it's as irresistible as possible, but it's the best thing I've created over these last 30 years. It gives you an opportunity to face your fears, to figure out what it is that really stops you, which we all know is unconscious fear. What are people afraid of today? You know what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the future. They're afraid of the present. They're worried can they have a better life in the future than they have today? And most people are lowering their expectations and letting the world take them over instead of getting creative and shifting and figuring out what to do. Or they're going into denial. So the very first night of the UPW is fear into power. It's the firewalk experience. But really what it's about is all night we're going to be showing you how to get yourself to follow through, how to get yourself to attack what you're afraid of, how to see what's been stopping you, and then get yourself to move forward in an instant and to train yourself to do that. So it isn't a conversation in your head about what you should do or some knowledge, but a follow through. I mean, how many people do you know that know exactly what they need to do or have a sense of what they have to attack, but they never face it, they never take action, they put it off, they set it aside, and that's really just a habit. And what we do is train you in your body how to make this happen. So when you get in front of that fire and it's 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and you got to get yourself to storm across that thing and you got to do it in an instant, that shift, let's just say if you're in business, if you're in sales, after walking on fire, cold calling is not a problem, right? If you're having difficulties in your business, you're going to be on a different side. And you're not only euphoric on the other side, but it shifts your core beliefs about what's possible. Because when you get yourself to do something you once thought was difficult or impossible, your brain starts to say, what else is I thought was difficult or impossible that I could do as well? The next day after developing this peak performance kind of state, you're going to get crystal clear on the steps you need to take to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. You're going to find out what are the beliefs that have been stopping you. You're going to discover exactly what it is you want today in this adjusted environment, if you will. What do you want for your body, your emotions, your relationships, your finances? What do you want for your career? What needs to happen now? And it's a state of such momentum when you've got thousands of people together, and we're all doing this individually, but then working on it collectively as well. We're going to make sure then you learn how to anchor in those changes so you follow through. We're going to show you the strategies that make the difference. Like, you really need three things. You got to know exactly what you want, and it's got to be so compelling, you're excited, and you're going for it every day. But you also have to know the best tools. And I've spent 30 years of my life looking for how do you get this result quicker? How are you going to transform your body so you have enough energy to follow through? If you're going to succeed in this marketplace, you've got to stand out. If you're going to do well in business, if you're going to do well with your family, you've got to have that extra level of energy. And most people's energy right now is nearly depressed. That's what they call a recession or a depression. People's mental states, their emotional states drop through the floor. So we're going to show you what to do physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. We're going to discover what are the core beliefs that you either developed or you already had that are holding you back. Because beliefs are a feeling of absolute certainty. 80% of success in life is psychology. 20% is mechanics. So if you don't make that shift, you pretty soon, you turn on the television, you turn on, the web, you look at what's all around you, and what you see is constantly being fed what's wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here for positive thinking, pretending everything is okay. Stick your head in the sand, go to your garden and chant, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. You know that I'm not about that. I'm about intelligence. I'm about seeing it as it is, but not worse than it is. And then seeing it better than it is, so you've got a vision that can inspire you to move forward so you can create a result. That's what leaders do. And then figuring out how to close that gap, how to make what you're picturing a reality. That's what we're going to do in this UPW seminar. And by the way, the UPW is new. Because of the financial environment we've in, I've changed some of the content so that on Saturday night, we've got a wealth building format. And then again on Sunday, After the health portion, we have a bonus section for you on how you can take advantage of this environment, how you can do well financially by utilizing some of the new tools that the web offers. I don't know what you're doing on that weekend, but my invitation to you is, what do you think you could be doing that could create a greater change in your life than this? I doubt much. And again, I don't have to make that claim from hyperbole or exaggeration. I got 30 years of delivering it. Talk to anybody who went to that program. The key phrase they'll always tell you is, it changed my life. Life will never be the same again after this event. So I want to invite you to come.